this slide cast, we're going to look at the methods of measurement that are used to define the units in a schedule of prices. So here's our schedule of prices that we looked at before, and let's look at that one lathe 150mm diameter pipeline. So that doesn't tell us all that much. Does it include the supply of the pipe, checking for existing services, excavating the trench, connecting the pipes together, connecting the pipes to the existing system, testing the pipeline, shoring the trench? There's a whole lot of stuff that you need to say to define that, and that's what we need to do in there are several ways of doing this. So that item all by itself is not enough. It's not giving enough information about what it's all about. So we need to provide more information. So there are different ways of defining it. The first way is the description in the schedule. So this is a schedule here. So off to the right of that description and schedule is an example. So you can see that what they've done is they've described the whole item in the schedule itself. So earthwork and excavation and foundation, so it describes the whole thing. It's almost like a specification. Then they've got the quantity, and that CUM is cubic meters, so it's meters cubed. And then there's another one there filling the available stuff. So that's a way of doing it. You can put it all in the schedule. The second way is description and methods of measurement subsection, which is what I prefer to use. And if you look at the Jackman Avenue contract, you'll see that that's what is used in that one. And in this instance, what happens is you have a totally separate section. So you have the schedule of prices table, and then you have another section which is called the methods of measurement and basis of payment subsection, and that provides a description. So you can see this has got a description of the preliminary general establishment. So this item allows for, and then it sort of lists all those things, so the on-site delivery, establishment, and so on. You'll notice that on the last sentence there is payments shall be by lump sum when establishment is complete and the contract works are commenced. That is the basis of payment. So the first part is the methods of measurement. It's defining what the actual work is. The second part, the payment part, is the basis of payments. When are you going to get paid? Now another way of defining items is to put a description in this specification. So New Zealand Transport Association does that with their specifications. So they'll have a specification describing how to lay a road, and then the last section of their specification will be describing how to we'll be setting out the basis of payments and the methods of measurement. So you can see in the purple there, we're talking about this come out of TNZF1, which is the New Zealand Transport Association earthworks specification, and it describes what the payment is. So it will be paid in total volume of cubic meters, uplifted and spread in accordance. Quantity of payment shall be solid volume. Remember that's solid in place, in the stockpile before removal. So you measure it in the stockpile before removal. You're not measuring the number of trucks, because remember when you load it on a truck the volume is higher. So you're measuring it in the stockpile. And the unit rate shall be full compensation for everything. So it's saying it covers picking it up, putting it in the truck, moving it, and then spreading it on the road again. The last way that it can be done is you can reference it in the drawing, and to a certain extent that's done in the Jackman Avenue project as well. So you can see that item D2.4 said, the combined, it described the item, and then in brackets it says layout D. And if you go to the drawings, you see that layout D, it shows exactly what layout D is. So it gives most of the indication of what it is, but doesn't say anything about whether it's supplying the pipe, doesn't say anything about supplying the bedding or anything like that. So it does need to be backed up with methods of measurement as well, but it's another way of defining things. Or you can have a combination of the above. And so Jackman Avenue has a combination of references to the drawing and a methods of measurement subsection. Some projects just have everything in the schedule, some just in the specification. So the methods of measurement subsection, I'll look at that because that's the most common way of doing things. It provides a detailed description of the item plus the basis of payment. The basis of payment is when is the item going to be paid for, and what has to be done to get the payment. So just looking at a couple of methods of measurement from I think it's the Jackman Avenue project. So the top bit is, we looked at that establishment before, is the detailed description, describes what the item actually covers. And the bit in red is the basis of payment. You can see the next one down for grassed areas, it's got the title. The title should, in the methods of measurement, and there should be an item number there as well. If you look at the Jackman Avenue contract, you'll see they'll put item numbers. The item number and the title in the methods of measurement should correlate with the item and the name in the schedule table. Okay, so it's pretty easy to understand which description relates to which item in the table. And so you can see that there's the grassed areas there, and payment is per square metre of grass cleared. So it makes it nice and clear as to what it's all about. Now, looking at, there's some unit standards, New Zealand standards, which give you tell you what you need to use when you're doing measurements. So it's not a matter of thinking, oh, we're doing topsoiling, is it square meters, is it cubic meters? This standard tells you what you're supposed to use. So it's NZS 4224 1983, Code of Practice for the Measurement of Civil Engineering Quantities. It's the standard for measuring the quantities. So if you have a look at that, it shows how you do it. It gives a lot of detail about the measurement. It talks a lot about what solid in place actually is. If you're measuring a pipeline, it's got a lot of information about that too. If you're measuring a pipeline, are you measuring from the center of the manhole to the center of the manhole? Are you measuring from the side of the manhole to the side of the manhole? So it's got all of that information included in it. And it also, the interpretations, definitions, all of the legal stuff that you need to understand. So what it does is it very clearly defines exactly how we're going to measure the works for payment. Now this one's for civil engineering works, so that's for, you can see that it's site investigation, dredging, roads, concrete, water mains, conduits. Notice there's nothing for buildings. And the reason why there's nothing for buildings in that is that there's a New Zealand standard that is just for the measurement of buildings. That's NZS 4202 1995, and that's for building works. And if you look down there, you see that it covers all of the items that you need to cover when you're doing a building. Now the construction people use this all the time. We don't get involved in it all that much. It's the other standard we deal with most, but it's also useful to know about this one in case you are doing a structure.